He had one hand on the door handle. She had tears she refused to let fall. And their little girl was watching from the top of the stairs, holding her favorite stuffed rabbit, not understanding why the house had gone so quiet. This is the story of Marcus and Diane, married for 9 years, parents to a 7-year-old named Sophie. From the outside, they looked like the kind of couple people admire. Steady jobs, a cozy home, family dinners every Sunday. But behind the warmth of that house, something had been quietly cracking for months. Not because of a big betrayal, not because of someone else, but because of something far more ordinary and far more dangerous. They had stopped truly seeing each other, and one Tuesday evening in October, everything they had built nearly fell apart. Marcus worked long hours as a logistics manager. 12-hour days were common. By the time he got home, he was empty. Not just tired, but hollowed out. He'd walk through the door, put his keys on the hook, and sit down without saying much. Diane always noticed. She told herself it was just stress. She told herself it would pass. But Diane had her own weight to carry. She worked part-time from home, handled most of Sophie's school schedule, managed the house, and tried to keep everything running smoothly. On the surface, she was calm. Inside, she was exhausted and, though she hadn't said it out loud yet, she felt invisible. Neither of them was a bad person. They were just two tired people who had forgotten to check in with each other. It started the way most big arguments do, with something small. Diane had asked Marcus twice that week to call the plumber about the leaking pipe under the bathroom sink. He'd forgotten both times. On Tuesday evening, she walked into the bathroom, stepped in a puddle of cold water, and something inside her finally snapped. She came downstairs. Her voice was calm, but her hands were tight at her sides. "Did you call the plumber?" Marcus looked up from his phone. He knew immediately. The look on his face, not guilt, but exhaustion, said everything. "I forgot. I'll do it tomorrow." "You said that yesterday." "Diane, I've had a brutal week." "So have I, Marcus. So have I." But I still managed to pack Sophie's lunch, sign her permission slip, reschedule her dentist appointment, and cook dinner every night this week. What exactly are you doing? The words hung in the air. Marcus put his phone down slowly. What is that supposed to mean? Sophie had stopped swinging her feet. She was staring at her plate. Diane let Sophie go upstairs. They waited until they heard the soft click of her bedroom door. Then it all came out. Marcus said he felt like nothing he did was ever enough. That he worked every day to keep the bills paid. And yet the moment he came home, he felt like he was walking into a courtroom. Diane said she felt like a single parent who happened to share a bed with someone. That she couldn't remember the last time Marcus had asked her how she was doing. Not as a mother, not as someone managing the house, but as a person. "I feel alone in this marriage," she said. Marcus went quiet. Not the kind of quiet that means someone is listening. The kind that means something inside them has shut down. "Maybe you'd be better off without me then," he said. It was a mistake. He knew it the moment it left his mouth. But pride is a cruel thing. It rarely lets us take words back quickly enough. Diane looked at him for a long moment. "Maybe I would be," she whispered, and she walked out of the kitchen. Marcus didn't sleep on the couch that night. He went to the guest room. He lay on his back, staring at the ceiling for hours, replaying every word. He told himself she was being unfair. He told himself he worked hard and she didn't see it. He convinced himself, in the dark and in his exhaustion, that maybe she was right. Maybe they were just too broken. By morning, he hadn't slept. He got up, went to their room while Diane was in the shower, and he pulled out the old suitcase from the top shelf of the closet. He didn't even know exactly why. He just needed to feel like he had a way out, like the walls weren't closing in. He set it on the bed, opened it. He put in 2 shirts. Then he stopped. He sat on the edge of the bed and held his face in his hands. From down the hall came the sound of Sophie singing to herself. Something from a cartoon she liked. Small, bright, completely unaware of the storm she was living inside of. Marcus sat there for a long time, just listening to her sing. Sophie padded down the hallway, still in her pajamas, rabbit in hand. She peeked into the bedroom. She saw the suitcase. She looked at her father sitting on the bed. "Daddy," she said, in a voice so small it barely filled the room. "Are you going somewhere?" Marcus looked up. I didn't know what had changed, but she climbed into her father's lap, reached over for her mother's hand, and smiled the simple, certain smile of a child who feels safe again. That was enough. Marcus and Diane didn't fix everything that morning. There is no single conversation that repairs months of quiet distance. But that morning was the beginning of something important. The decision to stop moving in parallel and start moving together again. They started small. Marcus made a point of asking Diane how her day was, and waiting for the full answer, not just a summary. Diane made a point of saying thank you out loud, even for things Marcus had always done without being asked. They started having a short check-in at the end of each week. Not a formal meeting, just 10 minutes at the kitchen table, no phones, asking each other, "What do you need from me right now?" It sounds simple, and in some ways it is. But simple things, done consistently, are what love actually looks like on an ordinary Tuesday. Here's what their story teaches us. Most relationships don't break because of one massive event. They break slowly, through small silences, small assumptions, small moments where we choose comfort over honesty. We tell ourselves our partner knows how we feel. We tell ourselves we'll have the harder conversation later, and then later keeps getting moved. The real danger in a long relationship isn't falling out of love. It's falling out of the habit of expressing it. And the bravest thing 2 people can do, when the suitcase is on the bed and the words have already done their damage, is choose to stay in the room. Choose to say the true thing. Choose to be seen. And to do the terrifying work of seeing the other person back. Marcus and Diane almost lost their family that October. What saved it wasn't a grand gesture. It was 2 people, exhausted and afraid, deciding that, "I don't want to lose you," was still the truest sentence either of them knew how to say. If you're in the middle of a quiet season with someone you love, reach out. Not tomorrow, now. Not with a speech, with honesty. That's all it usually takes to start finding your way back. If this story touched something in you, if you recognized yourself somewhere in it, then you're in the right place. Here at Between Us, we tell the stories that happen behind closed doors. The ones nobody posts about. The ones that make us human. If you want more stories like this, about love, about the hard work of staying, about the small moments that change everything, subscribe to Between Us. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a story. And if someone in your life needs to hear this today, share it with them. Sometimes the right story finds us at exactly the right time. Take care of each other. We'll see you in the next one.